Today we'll be speaking with Julia Backus about influencer marketing. She's one of our marketing specialists here at DLM and has a wealth of experience in public relations, and just so happens to be a co-host of our podcast. You're listening to the Limelight podcast, DLM's way of keeping you informed of the latest medical marketing news and insights. Here you'll find expert opinions, real-world situations, and personal stories that will help your practice grow. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. For those of you who are unfamiliar, influencer-based marketing is a type of marketing that involves endorsements and product placements from notable social media personalities that have influence over their following. As this type of marketing has become more mainstream within the online realm, we wanted to explore the topic with someone who has an experience implementing influencer tactics for clients. It can be beneficial to our clients to consider such a method of outreach that might be here to stay. Well, Jules, welcome back to the podcast. It's kind of an odd welcome back since you're a co-host typically, but welcome back.
Yeah, great to be a guest this week on the pod instead of hosting. So let's get into it.
So to get started, Jules, what deems someone as an influencer? It seems like a term that we hear a lot and something that a lot of people associate wannabe behavior with. What's the process of finding the correct influencer? That seems to be quite the challenge in the space.
Yeah, no, definitely a very solid, fair question, Alex. I look at it as finding the right relationship with an influencer, and the look of that has changed over the years. Now, more than ever, influencers value their time, how they get paid, and the relationship that they have with a brand or service that they're promoting above just getting free stuff like they may have 5 years ago. This looks like, influencers seeing themselves similar to how we see ourselves as a marketing agency, just an extension of whatever your brand or services team looks like. They're hoping to create these long-lasting relationships that can be mutually beneficial for both parties, them in promoting your brand and you for getting that promotion. Our job as an agency is to then connect your practice or brand with the right people. So doing that research up front so that we can align with somebody who authentically understands what they're promoting, understands who their audience is, and knows how to respond and communicate with them to keep them loyal to them, but then also then create that loyalty to your brand by extension.
I think that's a great introduction into the influencer space and some of the conversations that are conducted there from our perspective as well. I think we've got a lot more to talk about, so let's come back for our deep dive in just a minute. We hope this podcast sounds like fun because we really enjoy making it. If you have experience in sales, content creation, or account management, you might be the right person to join our team and grow your career. Check out our most recent job postings by visiting our website, dlmconversion.com. That's dlmconversion.com. We're back to go over our deep dive topic with Jules. How do you foresee influencer marketing working for our clients in the medical space? What opportunities exist here, and what do you think is valuable?
Yeah, so I know many of our clients would benefit from creating these relationships with influencers within their respective markets, because one of the most powerful forms of marketing is through word of mouth. Granted, this is a paid word of mouth kind of marketing for their business, but when you engage with an influencer, you're tapping into their loyal audience. Not having to work as hard to capture that audience's attention is crucial. Working with influencers who have already, accepted this audience and they are dialed in to what that person is saying. It's like skipping a step in the marketing process and connecting with, then your potential patients and clients and consumers that fit within the demographic that you're already targeting. That influencer already is tapped into that demographic in that space. So it's really just jumping ahead in line kind of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. You would utilize that audience to skip and bypass some of the need to influence. They have already been influenced, so to speak. What are some other benefits that clients could see working with influencers?
I see many things, but the two most important, aside from tapping into that, immediate influence, is these folks are fantastic content creators and they're excellent at networking. The first part of that being the content creation bit. That is important because oftentimes we see in our industry the use of stock photography because it's just the industry standard. These influencers create their own content and are able to then, when it's written into their contracts, have you reshare that on your own platforms. So it's a bit of a double whammy. That second part about them having an excellent network, that really just means that influencers are friends with other influencers. And in my experience, once you have one who is successfully working with your brand, others tend to want to follow suit. Organic interests that may come from other influencers who follow or know the one that you're currently engaging with, then become interested in working with your brand or simply then believe in your product or service themselves and promote it on their own channels, either for free or want to engage with you for a monetary relationship. It's just another huge win.
That's really insightful and a lot of good intel as to the relationship specifics between influencers and our position with connecting them to medical practices. I know there might be different levels of influencers based on kind of the size they could reach. Could you explain those levels?
Yeah, of course. In my eyes, there are 5 basic levels to an influencer's notoriety within their community. So at the very bottom end and the most accessible are nano influencers who I deem as 5,000 or less followers. Then micro influencers are influencers who have 15,000 or less followers. These two are the most authentic in my personal opinion because their audience trusts them, feels like they know them very intimately because it's kind of a tight-knit group of people. Then you kind of step into level 1 influencers, which is about 15,000 and up to 100,000, which is an attainable influencer to engage with. They're still speaking to a very loyal audience, but they're kind of getting to that level of, there might be some ego management that comes into it at that point. Then you get to what I call level 2 influencers, which is 100,000 and up. So this is somebody who knows what they're doing. They likely have a background in marketing themselves, and they've gotten into this influencing game early. So they were one of those people, kind of like I said earlier, 5 years ago, who were doing some of these different deals for just trade. But now they know that this is actually a business and they're able to make money off of it. These are the same people who may be getting their own brand deals and have exclusive lines with different brands. Say they're, mega into skincare or something along those lines. They'll collaborate with a brand on what that looks like. So a little bit less attainable, but still something that is within reach. And then there's the mega influencers who have multi-millions of followers. So we're talking like the Kardashians. These aren't the people who are going to be working with us on an intimate level, but they are people who are very successful at the influencer marketing business.
Well, thank you, Jules. That was a lot of great information on influencer marketing. I know I personally learned a lot of new information. We have one more question from our call-in segment that we would love for you to answer.
Hi, Alex and Julia. It's Jeff. My question for you guys is, how do you measure the success of an influencer's relationship with your brand?
Thank you for this question, Jeff. Every marketing tactic needs goals and measurables to see if there's success within the relationship. For influencer marketing, I typically push for the influencer to have a code so that their followers can use it, and then we can measure conversions that are directly from their promotional content. We also typically ask for the viewership of that campaign. So seeing how many eyes were on that person's Facebook stories or Instagram stories or whatever the platform may be, as well as measuring likes and overall impressions on that content. That can be a great way for us to measure the success and make it more quantifiable.
That's all for today's installment of the Limelight podcast. Join us next time for more marketing insights and expert advice brought to you by the team at DLM. As always, we'd love to hear your questions and thoughts, which you can always send to info@dlmconversion.com or drop us a line on our website, dlmconversion.com. We hope you'll listen again soon. Thanks.